Hi, everybody. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us today. It is August 17, 2020. We love being here every Wednesday. Almost had to cancel today. You may have got notices that we're not doing the show today, but I'm here, and hopefully you'll join us as well. So we get your live questions as we do every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, where we take your questions live to give some general education kind of stuff with regards to immigration, live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. We probably missing only one more or two more of these social media apps. We got all the big ones, so we're here to take your questions. Internet's been really bad last couple of weeks. Last week in particular, we had a great show. Questions were awesome, but the connection shut off. It's almost as if I'm in Antarctica or something like that for the internet to be so bad. Not here in Los Angeles, but that's just the situation with technology sometimes. So as your questions were coming in, I want to remind everybody two things. We do provide free video consultations to those watch the show. It's a raffle system. What you got to do is click like, subscribe, and write consultation in the comment section. And my wonderful assistant, Katrina, will name somebody every 10 minutes for a 30-minute show. And hopefully you'll get it in. We'll do a free 15-minute video consultation to break down your case. Most of the time it goes over 15 minutes. It's not necessarily that strict, but I do get some help in private that way. Having said that, there's also a guide we have, the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. If you're thinking about starting the process for your fiancé, for your spouse, you're getting married, you're getting engaged, download the guide, learn what's there first, and then talk with lawyers so at least you know what to ask, and that'll take you where you need to go. That's a very important thing to download there. Just go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com, and you can download there. There's probably a bunch of other stuff I'm forgetting about, but hey, we got some questions coming in, so let's get the show started. All right, so we got some start questions popped up. Shri asked, any advice on the PERM process? Well, PERM is the process where you get your green card based on having employment in the United States. You got a job offer, they want to hire you and get your green card so you work with them in the United States and start the PERM process. Any advice? It's a highly sensitive and complicated process that's long and a lot of stuff. So when you ask any advice, it's kind of like any advice on life. Yeah, live a good life, and that's all I say. Make sure all the questions are answered properly. Try to avoid typos. The company's lawyer is going to do that. Hopefully they're thorough. Give them all the information that's needed, and be patient. And that's some general advice that I give you. I can't get more specific there. This is just too case specific. But Shri, thank you for asking your question. Appreciate it. Cindy Valenzuela says, hi to you. Jordan, one of our regulars, says, hey, John, it's been a while. What if my visitor visa expired after I filed for adjustment of status? Will the adjustment of status file a waiver of unlawful presence? So let's back that up. So a person's here on a tourist visa. Once they're here on the tourist visa, for some reason they change their mind and decide to file for adjustment of status, which is the process of applying for a green card when in the United States. That's what adjustment of status means. Now, once to file adjustment of status, in most cases, not every case, but in most cases, you have to have some valid status in the United States before you file. So usually a tourist visa is 6 months. If you file for adjustment of status 5 months in that tourist visa, that could work. But if the tourist visa expires and then you file for adjustment of status, it can get denied. If you're married to a U.S. citizen, there's an exception for that. If you're a parent of U.S. citizens, there's always exceptions and stuff. But generally, if it's afterwards, it's going to be a problem for your green card case. But if you file when you have status, then you do not need to maintain status. Even though your tourist visa expires, you can remain in the United States under an authorized period of stay until a decision is made. So there's no unlawful presence accumulation. You don't need a waiver, as you mentioned here. Now, what's important to note this, an authorized period of stay is not status. And a lot of immigration attorneys, yesterday, I had to tell somebody this, it's not status to it. It's not frequent where even immigration lawyers don't understand this. But you need to, it's not considered valid status. They just say, since you have a green card case pending, we'll let you stay here until a decision is made. However, it doesn't mean ICE, the police for immigration, can't come and pick you up. They have full authority to come and pick you up, send you to immigration court, try to deport you, all that kind of stuff. But typically they don't, because let's say you're married to a green card holder, you file for the green card, you're going to do an interview, and the case can get approved or denied. And most likely these cases, a vast majority of them get approved. So what's the point of trying to deport this person unless they have criminal history, they're dangerous to the public, or something like that? So most of the time they just let it go and that's it. But it's not a guarantee because it's not status. But yeah, if you file for adjustment status when you currently have status, you're in a period of authorized stay. Even if that status expires, you stay here. You want to avoid violations. So let's say you start working without authorization or something like that. You don't want to do something like that. But that's the general picture of that. Thanks, George. Good to see you again. Yves asks, how long does it take to get an update from USCIS after having served lawsuit, please? It's not USCIS per se. I mean, it's their lawyers, let's say. it's a court thing, so it's litigation. They're going to ask for continuance for more time, probably. It could be months until something happens on that. Quick questions on Instagram. Any updates about faster processes for USCIS and NBC? In general, there is like they're saying kind of stuff, but in practice, some cases go faster, some cases are going slower. So nothing that's helpful. We have a question in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. Sorry about that, Valerex. Gotta say it in English. Ashtar asks, Salam, Namaste, Shalom. This is Ashtar, writer, entrepreneur from Karachi, blah, blah, blah. Can you guys reach out to me? You know, Ashtar, you got to email the office if you want to schedule a consultation. There are fees associated with that. But email, we can schedule a full consultation and talk to you about that there. Cindy asks, hi, my husband and I completed his interview and in December, case under review. How long? If your husband did the interview in the United States in December and the case is still pending, that's really bad news. They're doing an investigation, don't believe you or something like that. If it's done at the embassy, these things take a while. It depends on what country you're from, a lot of other issues. I just don't know enough about the case to be able to answer that. Shivan asks, hey, the processing time for I-130 petition service Texas service is terrible. Why is this so long for approval? They just do things differently, unfortunately. Yeah, the times in different offices are bad and not consistent. Let me take a quick question on Instagram. Malik asks, does age difference affect your green card marriage interview? This is a question I get all the time. I have a bunch of videos on this on YouTube. But hey, let's do it again. So age by itself is not an issue. I've had cases where a man is 70, the same-sex couple, man's like 70, the guy's like 25. I've had a woman who's 45, the guy is 19. The age by itself is not an issue for a green card case. If you have multiple stuff, let's say your age is different, and one person is from one culture, one language, and the spouse is from a completely opposite culture and language, where you're like, how does this work? How does that make sense? You know, and then there's other indication of fraud or something like that. There's got to be a bunch of red flags that come together for the age to be an issue. And just like in real life, it's not unheard of outside the immigration context for an older person with vast age difference to marry a younger person. We all see that in our lives. So it doesn't mean it's fake necessarily. It is what it is. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's some officer you're going to interview with. So you want to go prepared. Well, the issue is if you go unprepared and they start asking questions, you're not giving good answers, that's going to lead to a denial and a fraud finding potentially. So age is nothing but a number and this kind of stuff, as I say, it is just that, but you have to be prepared. I have cases where people do their case on their own. They come to me after it's been denied or after they want a second interview, and we're going over, and they had no preparation because they said, oh, we have nothing to hide. It's just immigration, this and that. It's like, no, it's not about hiding something. It's got to be prepared. They're going to ask you specific questions. If you can't answer them, then they're going to think you're doing fraud. And some of these questions, if you're asking your parents about what day did they get married, what was the first restaurant they went to when they got in a relationship, they may not know, and they're married and have you as a kid. So this is the thing. We got to prepare for this. It's not the same thing when people think immigration, these kind of questions. They're different than what we meet in real life. So the age is not an issue itself. It's about preparation to be able to answer the questions that are asked. And if you download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide, I have a section, 4 pages at the end of the guide that have practice questions that are typically asked. You know, go through those, know what's ask this kind of stuff. Be prepared to talk about your life and what's going on behind the scenes. That's my long. I feel like I'm being really loud right now. It's my long spiel on that. It's provable. I have these approved all the time, but I get really sad when people come to me in good cases. They're 100% real couples, but they go unprepared and they just mess things up, and it's really hard to fix it after the fact. And really hard because then they already are looking at you as if you're doing fraud, and it's a downhill battle. It gets super expensive, time consuming, and you just feel bad. Or it's like you could have just done this right and fixed it. So that's the only advice, I guess. The main advice is prep for it. Preferably have a good lawyer. And what is a good lawyer? That's going to be a hard thing to find, but someone who cares and someone who's going to spend the time to go through it with you and prep you the right way. But thank you for your question. I appreciate that. All right, next questions come from Angelique. Hello, I filed an I-601 waiver last year. It's been over 60 months. Kindly advise them what to do to speed up the process. I'm in 2-year marriage. So the I-601 waiver is needed if a person has some sort of violation, that's a particular issue that prevents them from getting a green card. They have to file a waiver first. Unfortunately, these are taking like 2 years right now. It's out of control how long these waivers are taking. I don't like the fact, I mean, you could try filing a lawsuit to help speed it up, but the lawsuit when you file lawsuits for delays, it only pushes the government to make a decision, not approval. And on a 601 case, if you push them to make a decision, they might deny the 601 waiver and you wasted the time and money. So you kind of like just got to wait and see what happens, unfortunately. I don't have better advice than that, but Angelique, wish you the best. Siobhan asks, okay, we already answered that question. Cindy follows up. Oh yeah, I went for that too. Beverly asks, I'm a U.S. citizen, filing for unmarried sons, 2015, waiting on interview date over 10 months. What should I do at this point? There's nothing much you can do. You just got to wait for them to schedule the interview. That's just the delays with the embassy right now. Nader says, hello to you too. Ulysses asks, hi, can a legal permanent resident petition for a fiance to come to the United States? No, they can't. Fiance visas are only for U.S. citizens. So if you're a green card holder, you got to go and marry your fiance, then file for a marriage case, which is kind of backed up right now. It's going to take a while, unfortunately. But that's what's happening right now. Quick question on Instagram. Abdul Wahab says, boss, I filed for a K1 visa with the problem with my applications. I forgot my father's date of birth. That's not that important. You can write unknown. If there's no way for you to find out what your father's date of birth is, it's not something that's going to kill the case. Just say unknown and be truthful. They can't hold you to something like that's not a primary piece of evidence that's going to lead to a denial. So hopefully that information helps. Next questions come from Cindy. I'm in the U.S. Interview was in the U.S. So Cindy, you got to talk to attorney in private to see what's going on. Maybe everything's okay, but I'm not sure what's going to happen. Nader asks, we filed a green card on marriage last September 16. Haven't received anything yet. Yeah, I mean, just depends. Things take a while, and that's not that out of the ordinary. Mom Sila asks, will I be held accountable if my parents filed a visa application when I was underage with false information? Will I be able to adjust status and not be found admissible? If you're under 18, not every time, but certain things won't be used against you because you don't have the ability to do it. But I need more information here to see exactly what happened, Mom Silo. So this issue will come up because there'll be an assistant that you have this other information. But we have to see exactly what happened to be able to answer that question. Most of the stuff won't be held against you, but some stuff can be. It depends on what happened once you got the visa, where you were. There's just a lot going on. It's too case specific for me to be able to just answer you like this right here. Now, I do want to name our winner, Cindy Valenzuela. You are a free raffle winner. My assistant, Katrina, named you. So all you got to do is take a screenshot of where you're watching this. Your name's there. And email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com. So I could see that your user is there as the user of that screenshot, the app you're using this on. And I'll send you a link to schedule a free 15-minute consultation. For those just tuning in, we do give away free video consultations for those watching the live show. All you got to do is like and subscribe. And what I'll do is, name somebody. My assistant will pick somebody every 10 minutes. We got 2 more to go, and we'll set up time to talk privately. Also, if you're interested in general, if anyone's watching, interested in marriage, green card, fiance visa, like that question who asked, as a fiance visa, as a green card holder, can I file for a fiance visa? On the very first page of the Ultimate Marriage Immigration Guide, there's a chart that breaks down who could do what. You would have got the answer there along with the next answers. So I recommend downloading the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com, checking that out, and then scheduling a private consultation. Thanks for watching. We're getting a lot of hearts here on Instagram. I appreciate it. Mentor asks, how long should it take before I can file for citizenship? I have a CR1 visa. I'm married for almost 2 years. Well, first of all, you got to file for a removal of conditions, I-751. That's the first thing if you're on a CR1. But secondly, you can file for citizenship 3 years as soon as 90 days before the 3-year mark of having your green card, if you satisfy all the other requirements. So that's a quick answer to that. But it depends. If your spouse is a citizen, again, I got to back that up. I don't know the detail of your case. If your spouse is a citizen, you can file for a citizenship as soon as 90 days before the 3-year mark of becoming a green card holder. But your spouse may be a green card holder. I'm assuming they're a citizen. So see, I shouldn't make assumptions. That's why you got to be very careful. When people call me and say, I want a quick answer, there's a little bit of facts I got to put together where I can say something wrong and maybe misled you and create problems for myself or giving bad information. So I got to be very cautious when I talk about here. Got to learn all the information, get that all together. But that's the big picture on that. And then another question, Epsilon says, what's the wait time for CR1 and K1 for citizens? It's a long time. I got to sit and talk about that. It's all over the place, but we got a lot of the questions. I might get to that later. But thank you for your question. It's going to take over a year or 2 for you to get through with your case. Moab Derahaman says, what does it mean your case is being actively reviewed by USCIS officer for F400? It means they're actively reviewing your case. It means exactly what it says. Nader says, I'm in a Assam case. It's 2016. Sorry to hear that's taking so long. Mohammed asks, my brother, I have a citizenship interview next week. My wife and daughter's case was waiting for interview. Embassy prior to 2019. Essentially, your case is in Islamabad in Pakistan. I'm waiting for a green card interview, and that's just things going on in Pakistan. Huge delays. it's going to be a while. That's all I could say. Unfortunately, I'm not getting any interviews in Pakistan unless we have cases. We've had cases where we have emergency situations that are life or death. I had someone who married a person of a different religion in Pakistan, and they changed their religion, and because of that, they were probably going to kill him. So we told the government that, listen, it's a very dangerous situation. Can you expedite and give us the interview to get them out of Pakistan so they don't, because they kill them, and they listen and they help. So unless it's some extreme situation like that, then that's that. Mentor Trust says, thanks you for giving the opportunity. You're welcome. God bless you. Let's see. Abdul Wahab says, what's time frame for K1 visa? 1, 2, 3 years. Depends on where you're filing it. Ebony asks, what about a family that went for I-75 interview January 2020? No feedback till now. Huge red flags. You got to talk to a lawyer private. If your I-75 hasn't been approved for 2 years, you got to see what's going on. And wife is staying in Dubai. I don't know, Bob. This gave too case specific on that. I need to talk with you in private to see what's going on there. Let's go back to the questions on the other apps. Is DACA gonna stay? Well, that's not up to me. GH asked DACA, deferred action for child arrivals. Are they going to continue this program for people that came here as children and to be able to work and stay here? That's a political question. I have no power or authority or crystal ball to tell you that what's going to happen with that one. Next question. AJ asks, my dad has an asylum interview last year, and we have got a response from him yet about a decision. We have yet to. You're probably saying you haven't got a response. I don't want to tell you. Sometimes it take a while. Sometimes it's not a good sign. You need to talk with an attorney in private to see what happened. And if you want, do a lawsuit to see what's going on, maybe something like that. Mohammed asks, what happens after I become a U.S. citizen for my wife and daughter case? They'll just change the case from an F2A spouse of a. Actually, this is a bad issue, Mohammed. You don't want. Okay, let's back this up. So I'm not sure if it applies to your case. So I'm not giving case specific advice, but if you're a green card holder and you want your spouse and minor child to come to the United States, you file if you don't know what's going on, you file one form I-130 petition that says I'm going to file for my spouse and want my child to be within it, and then they could get a green card. It takes a while. However, if you're a U.S. citizen, you have to file one I-130 petition for your spouse and one I-130 petition for your child. And so if you start the case as a green card holder with a spouse and child are in one case, but then you become a citizen, that case cuts off your child and they have no case, and this case stays for your spouse. And so if you become a citizen right now and you did not have a separate I-130 separate for your child, you have a problem if you become a citizen because your child's going to cut off and they have no case. So then you have to go around and file a new I-130. They may expedite it under the circumstances, but it's not clear if it will. So you got to be careful. You may not want to become a citizen until your family gets a green card. This might be a reason to ask the embassy to expedite it because of the consequence of it. Pakistan's probably not going to do it, but hey, these are the kind of stuff that you got to prep for and be prepared for. I hope that information helps you. My sister Katrina says we got a winner for our raffle, Abdul Wahab. Please take a screenshot of where you're watching this. Email to me at info@jqqlaw.com, our office email address to answer myself, and we'll schedule a free 15-minute chat to see what's going on there. Juan Campos, good friend, says, can I file an I-485 while I-539 extension of stay is still pending? Probably not. Depends what the basis of the I-485 is. So, for example, if they're adjusting status based on marriage to U.S. citizen, it doesn't matter if they're out of status. But I-539 itself is not status, so you cannot file for adjustment status while the I-539 is pending. It won't help. Now, if I-539 gets approved and then they go back and approve it till that date, maybe that'll work. But they may deny the I-539 because I-539 change of status means you're changing from one non-immigrant temporary visa to another temporary visa. And once you file for adjustment status, you're saying you're filing for a green card, and that shows immigrant intent. It may cause the denial of the I-539. So it gets kind of messy here. It's not something you really want to do, but it depends on the facts, what kind of adjustments, what's the basis of the adjustment. But thank you for your question. Good to see you again. Umar says, in U.S., what are the rights of a single lady with a green card? I don't know what that question means. Ebony asks, followed up because outside processing time, but still told us pending. Yeah, Ebony, I got to see what's going on. I'm not sure what's going on with that case, but thank you for your question. And everyone on Instagram, great questions. Let's go back to the other apps. Instagram has its own phone. That's why I have to separate it. Cindy asks, how long did it take for immigration to make a decision? There is no deadline for the Immigration Department, USCIS, or the embassy to make a decision. I've seen cases where people come to me like, yeah, in 2005, we started a case. There's still no decision. It's 2018. 15 years or whatever, they're doing my math wrong maybe, have gone, or 13 years have gone by, still no decision. So there is no timeline for them to make a decision necessarily, and at a certain point you have to sue them if they're taking too long. Daryl asks, great work, John. Daryl, well, thank you, Daryl. Good to see you again. Noah asks, can an ex-US citizen naturalize? It is possible, but they could deny your case too if you abandon citizenship, if they think you abandoned for taxes or something like that, or to avoid war. There's a lot going on there. Daryl asks, as you said, John, I received an RFE for my I-539. I'm trying to respond to them. Daryl, I don't remember the details of your case. I don't want you to go too much into your private stuff, but hopefully you have a good response prepared for them. Ash asks, can I travel with a valid conditional green card while my divorce is pending without having issues with the customs office during entry? Will I deny because I'm divorced? Not necessarily. This is 2-case specific. They could do whatever they want to hassle you. Probably not. But I got to see where your case is on the I-751 spectrum, where your divorce is, what your evidence is, what the plan is. So this is 2-case specific for me to advise here. They can do it, unlikely, but I can't give any guarantees. Plus, I just need to know more information on what's going on there. Amsterdam says, announce a winner for Instagram. I did actually. Abdul Wahab got that winner. Sorry, Amsterdam. That somebody else just got that. Okay, next question. I think we run out of questions. We got a couple more. Martinelli says, could you please explain how premium processing works in marriage green card applications? Well, yes, it's very quick. It doesn't. There's no premium processing for a marriage green card case. Premium processing applies right now to certain employment-based categories. For example, if you are EB1A extraordinary ability, you file premium processing. But you cannot use premium processing for a marriage green card case, I-130 petition, or adjustment status related to that. So that option is just not there. 29 Super C, one of our regulars, asks, good night, Coach Rod. Just saying hello and hope you're doing well. Same here. I hope you're in the U.S. and things are going well and you're adjusted to your new life here. 29 Super C, a long-time listener, went through the immigration process and all the headaches and the delays you all talk about. Poor guy went through it as well, but eventually it all worked out for better or for worse. A lot of drama happened in between, but hopefully he's better for it. God bless you, 29 Super C. Good to see you. And Molshama says, can you tell us about I-751? Well, that's a pretty broad kind of question, but Form I-751 is for removal of conditions. If you get your green card through marriage and the marriage is new, so when you get your green card, your marriage is less than 2 years old, they give you a conditional green card. And the conditional green card acts like a normal green card, except it's only valid for 2 years. And there's a 90-day window before the expiration of the 2-year green card where you have to file Form I-751 to get a permanent 10-year green card. And the purpose of that form is to judge your relationship again to make sure it's a real relationship. So the form is pretty simple. You submit that, but it's more complex. It's the evidence you use to prove the paperwork and documents to prove that you were really in a relationship with the U.S. citizen or your green card holder. And if you're getting divorced, it's even more complicated. But essentially, it's an application to prove your relationship was real and it was not fake. They're double checking whether that was the case. And sometimes they'll do interviews for them too. And they take a long time. They're really backed up. They could take anywhere from 6 months to 2 years easily. So it's a big headache. Sometimes we have cases where at the time the green card will be issued, it'll be close to 2 years that the person's been married. And if we can, we try to push back the green card issue date so it happens after 2 years of marriage to avoid having to do the I-751. Less work for me as an immigration lawyer, but I'm happy to do it. I prefer no one has to do I-751. The system is very badly designed. What they ask for is ridiculous many times. And sometimes we send them hundreds and hundreds of pages of documents, and we get a request for evidence in our RFE that says, you didn't send us anything. So I'm like, what is this crazy stuff? But that's what we do with the government. So Ebony Spotless asks, could I get your email address for you to take over I-751 case? Thank you. Email is info@jqklaw.com. That's info@jqklaw.com. Probably my assistant would help on this particular case, but our firm can help you. It wouldn't be myself probably. But email the office. We schedule a full consultation first to see what's going on. Sometimes at this point, if you already submitted your case, there's no point in switching lawyers. But hey, email the office. Let us know about what your initial worry is briefly, and we can take it from there. All right, so we got more questions. Oh yeah, we got a bunch more. Okay, Melvin asks, how long will my I-130 form be approved after state active review? When you submit a Form I-130 petition, you go online, it says your case be actively reviewed. It means nothing. And it doesn't mean anything towards how long it's going to take. There's no way to judge how long it's going to take. It's going to take however long USCIS wants it to take. And that's the real answer when it comes to this. So that's about it, Melvin. There's no timeline I could realistically help you with. Okay, one question from Mo asks, U.S. citizen, not green card holder. So if you're a U.S. citizen, the situation is better, but I guess too much of the case-specific stuff. I just want to follow up on that. Next question on the other chat. Daryl asks, hey, John, a friend of mine got his green card January 2021. He joined the military a year later. He divorced. Can he apply for citizenship? There is an expedited version of citizenship for military personnel. So that might be something you could do. If he's interested, we do provide free consultations for active duty military personnel. So Daryl, let's ask your friend to email me, let me know his active duty, maybe send some active duty paperwork, so I know it's him and it's real, and I can talk with him on private about that. But there's expedited citizenship in military cases sometimes, depending on the situation. Hashim asks, my wife's case is documented qualified NBC. How long it take Pakistan? There's no answer. It take forever. That's the real answer. Another question on Instagram, send me your email. Email is info@jqqlaw.com. Just look up JQ Law Firm. The email is going to be on the website. Who is eligible to file Form I-485? That's just way too broad of a question, but basically, Form I-485 adjustment status is based on the Immigration and Nationality Act, Section 245. And Section 245 says that people are eligible for adjustment of status are people who it's like a three-parter. The visa number is current. I don't remember all the details. I could name it off just like that, like homework or tests. But essentially, a person is in the United States in valid status unless an exception applies, who hasn't done certain violations unless an exception applies. It's not a question that you just answer. It's like it really is, whatever your case specifically is, we could talk about that. But it's too broad of a concept. There's like a whole 10-page regulation on this. So it's not something that's realistically be answered here in that format. V. Chill asks, what happens when an F2A adjustment of status is pending and spouse becomes a U.S. citizen? Not much. I had a discussion earlier where if you have a child, your child falls out of the application. But if you have adjusted F2A pending, you notify the government, it probably won't make much of a difference. Shubha says, can he travel after filing N-400? Yes, you can. You're not stuck in the United States after filing for citizenship. Now, you don't want to be outside the United States for too long and have those kind of issues, but that could be a problem. So be mindful of that. The same limitations apply. You shouldn't be out for more than 6 months. You should keep your life here, all that kind of stuff. Quick question by M. Sada says, can you please give us an update you might have for K1 and CR1 of citizen, please? There's no update like that. I'm not sure what you're looking for. If you have a specific thing for a case, let me know. I can talk around it. But any update, it's just too broad a thing. Some embassies are faster, some are slower. If you're from Pakistan, you're screwed because it's going to take 2 years, hopefully 2 years. If you're from Sweden, it's not. So it's like, which embassy are you talking about? Which kind of case? It's too broad a question to say just give us an update kind of like that. Sorry, can't be more specific than that. Let's jump some questions on the other apps. Mohammed asks, thank you for answering. I really need your assistance. So how can I contact you? Just email the office info@jqqlaw.com. We'd have to do a consultation. In the email, briefly explain your question. And please note there are consultation fees do apply. Quick note, I forgot to name the winner of our third raffle. It's Ash. Ash, if you're still here, take a screenshot of where you're watching this and email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com. You have the ISOM 51, a question about travel and all that kind of stuff, CR1. Email me and we'll talk about it briefly. We'll get your answers in there. But thank you for your question. I appreciate it, Ash. We only got a couple minutes. Let's try to get through these questions. I'm already talking super fast. I know that people complain about that all the time. I get comments, you talk too fast, and I'll try to slow it down. But I can't help it. I love talking about immigration law. I get excited. I talk about immigration law all day. I write about immigration law all day. I have 2 podcasts. I have shows. I have a magazine. I have a conference that's coming out. Fortunately, conference is for other immigration lawyers, not for regular public. But you can see I get too excited. I found a topic in life that hooks me up and makes me happy and makes me money and makes people happy. It's an incredible situation. I'm thankful for it every day. But that's the reason why I talk fast generally in life. But when I talk about immigration, I just get excited talking even faster. So let's take a couple more questions and let's get it done. Mo asks, I have a green card for over 5 years, but I spend most time overseas due to my job. Can I still file? No, that's a bad idea. You should talk with an immigration attorney in private. But Mo123, the absence is abroad. It can be a serious problem, even for maintaining a green card potentially. It might take it away. Probably not, but that risk exists. This is something you got to talk with an immigration attorney in private about. So next question, Hashim asks, I'm a U.S. citizen. I have a child overseas. How long will it take to get a passport? Can you or not? getting a passport for a child who was born overseas depends on a lot of factors about your background, about your marriage, and all this kind of stuff. So the passport, maybe you want to get a consular record of birth abroad, CRBA, and that's what you want to get in the passport too. But it depends on the facts of your life. We'd have to have a private consultation to see what's going on. I have a lot of videos on YouTube about this scenario. The answers will be there if you feel like looking for them and watching them. Check out my YouTube page for it. But it's too case specific to go into your case here, so I'll have to leave it at that. 29 Super C follows up. Still adjusting. It has been a roller coaster, but God has definitely intervened in my circumstances. Well, congratulations, you got the green card, and it takes a while to adjust, but you'll get there. Thank you, 29 Super C. Shubhas, I just got removal of conditions in 16 months approved. Congrats, a year and 4 months. That's wonderful that you got the I-step approved so quickly. God bless you. Thanks for letting me know. Pretty self. So how long does USCIS? There's no timelines for MVC scheduling appointments. There's no answer to that. Melvin says, please show your email address in form of contact you. My email address is on the page you're looking. So if we take your question, Melvin, off, my name is on the screen. If you're watching where you're watching on YouTube, we'll just remove your question. Katrina moved Melvin's question. And my email address is there, johncustravi-info@jklaw.com. It's on the screen, the bottom left, or better, bottom left. I'm not sure how it shows on your page, but it's there for those watching outside of Instagram and TikTok. Okay, so we'll have 3 more questions. Amir asks, how long does it take to get a replacement green card? 2 months, 3 months to a year, hopefully. And Shub asks, you have to get your stamp in your passport after your green card is expired. Not necessarily. If you file for renewal, you get an auto extension of while your case is pending for a renewal. So if that expires, then you need to get a stamp in your passport. Abigail asks, I did my N400 citizenship interview April 20th, 2022. I passed all the tests. The officer did not make a decision. I did an inquiry. I got a response from the field office that they cannot move forward. I don't know the facts of your case. It could just be the officer forgot about it, or it could be an issue with your case. That'll be through case specific. And last question by Melvin. Which other means can I get to US aside from the I-130? I'm Nigerian. My wife is US citizen. Our marriage is really feeling the heat due to the distance. Please advise her. That's going over all the immigration laws. So, I mean, there's work-based stuff. There's investment-based stuff. There's green card lottery. This is too broad of a question. There's a lot of content online that talks about the green card process in the United States, but it's just not something you go into here. So that's it, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Let's do a session. Hopefully I didn't talk too fast. I had a lot of fun. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully I'll be back next week. I have big news in my family. We're having another baby. I thought it was going to happen today, so I was going to cancel today's show, but it didn't. Probably by next week I'll have another kid. Looking forward to that, and hopefully I won't have to cancel the show. If everything happens before. Thanks. I love coming here and talking to you all. God bless you all. Be safe, and I'll catch you all next week. Bye-bye.